First question I have for you actually is when I said to my subscribers I was interviewing you, they all want to know how you managed to keep your voice in such fantastic shape. I mean, by the way, day out in nowhere is absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
But how do you manage to keep it? What's your secret to keeping your voice in such great condition?
I don't know. I've just been very lucky, I think. I've got a very loud speaking voice and a very loud singing voice. But some days it doesn't work out like I'd like it to. But it's
Yeah,
just a matter of, if I drink coffee, it screws it up. It makes it very gravelly and acidic. So all the acid comes out of my stomach and fucks up my vocal cords. So
right.
I should never do that when I'm singing. So I
Yeah,
make sure that I don't drink coffee when I record or go on stage. It's okay to drink tea or water, but no alcohol, of course, which I don't do. And so it's just something I've just been very lucky. I think what it is, my early training when I was a kid, I was in a dance band and sang every kind of music, really,
yeah,
swing stuff and all that kind of stuff, and had to use my voice in different ways. Um, so I could sing, control everything, in here the sound that comes out, and
yeah.
also I have very very large lungs.
Good.
So, which I thank my granddad for because he's built the same as me. He used to have a very large chest and a very slim waist. So it's kind of like someone said to me once, you have the body like a greyhound. You're the large lungs on the very narrow, waist. But it's just I've been lucky to have all these things help me along during my singing career, so to speak,
Yeah,
and I have no real answer. I just know, oh, I just know I can do it,
yeah,
and it's something I've just been very lucky because a lot of my friends have sort of said, "Oh, I'm too old to sing now," but I've still got my speaking voice. I don't speak like an old man, and
yeah.
all that kind of thing. It's just lucky, and I think also from my family. My mum was a singer. My brother used to sing, but it's just one of those things. Well,
Yeah. Well,
lucky.
I interviewed Arthur Brown not so long ago, and he still sounds fabulous as well. And he must be
Yeah,
nearly
yeah.
80. That's
Yeah, he's one of
wonderful.
those guys that has that sort of semi-operatic voice, you
Excellent.
know,
Yeah,
and I can sort of, in a way, sing like that, if you will.
yeah, yeah. Actually, you
So
talked
I
about
don't know. There's no real answer.
you talked about some of the early stuff you did in the 60s. I was going to ask you actually, when you do your set, do you actually include any of those old Marbles songs?
Yeah, yeah. We're the very first record that brought me and my cousin into view musically was a song called "Only One Woman" in 1968.
Yeah,
Which we followed up with a song called "The Walls Fell Down." Both songs written by Barry Gibb,
yeah,
and we were very lucky to work with Barry and the Gibb brothers. My cousin, in fact, Trevor Gordon, was in the Bee Gees when he lived in Australia, and he made records with those guys. And so that's how I met the Bee Gees, was through my cousin. And so we had a good run for 2 years, I think, and then we decided to go our separate ways. And things didn't really happen for a while
yeah,
in the
yeah,
70s, but for me or him.
yeah.
So it was. We were very lucky to have Barry Gibb write the song and be the producer on that first record. We did real well, and people really like that song.
Yeah.
And we still do it live once in a while.
Excellent,
Only One Woman.
excellent.
I love it.
Yeah. What was it like working with the Bee Gees though? I mean, that was quite interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean they put the tracks down for us. So on those two records we made, those two recordings we made, my cousin and I, that is the Bee Gees playing on the tracks. And me and Barry and Morris were very close to me and my cousin. Robin was more of he was a bit of a loner. Not Morris, sorry, Robin.
Yeah, yeah,
Morris and Barry were close to me and my cousin. So we see Barry constantly would come round to our house when we all lived in London. But of course, they moved to America eventually. But we were good friends. It's just we'd go out in the evening and go to a club. The Speakeasy we used to go to, which was a club in London,
yeah, yeah.
which was the one to go to because kind of everyone lived there. And there'd
Sure.
be sometimes a jam at night with Jimi Hendrix or whatever, and you know, people from bands. It was a good time. Of course, that's gone now.
Yeah.
It's much harder now to be working in the business. It's oversaturated, I think, And
Yeah.
well, I'm an old guy now. I was lucky to get success when I did. I think people who are trying to do sort of what you call heavy rock now, coming into it, are failing because it's been done.
Yeah.
And I think it may happen again. I'm not sure if the so-called heavy metal thing will happen again, but I think it's been done. It's time to move on to something different. But that's what I do, and that's what a lot of my friends do. It's heavy rock, and
Yeah.
we're stuck with that forever, because
Absolutely.
that's the best thing we do.
Absolutely. And you do it so well as well. What made you
Thank you.
take a role? What made you take a role in Three for All? And do you have any stories about working with Diana Dors? Because she was in that one as well, wasn't she?
Yes, yeah, she was. I sort of hung out with her for a couple of minutes, I think, on that movie. There were so many people in that movie that were well known,
Yeah.
comedians and whatever, and Edward Woodward, he was in there as well. It
Fabulous
was
actor.
a fantastic thing to do, but a terrible movie, absolutely awful. But some of the music was okay. I thought some of it was okay on the album that came out, but it was Diana Dors was really very, very nice. I think she was a great actress. She really was,
Yeah.
and very funny. But I can't remember. Oh, I tell you who I hung out with was John Le Mesurier. He was in
Okay.
that. He was in that movie too, and for some reason we hung out together. I think it was because of a certain drug called Mandrax. he, he used to take them all the time, and
Yeah.
I was. I remember I got nervous about something one day, doing some kind of a scene, because I wasn't acting. I just was in there and doing my bit, but not very well, I thought. And he said, "Dear boy," he said, "here, take one of these, Mandrax." I said, "I know what Mandrax is." And I said, "You take Mandrax?" He said, "Yes, every day." And I remember me and him in the hotel going. I went into his room with his girlfriend, his wife, or I can't remember if he was married to her, but I went into his room and we went out to the balcony and we both had a couple of Mandys. So we we're
Yeah.
very high and feeling good and relaxed and leaning on the sort of surrounding, like the fence around the balcony. It started to give way. We are in Spain now, by the way. It started to give way, and shit, we go. Oh, so I had to pull him up, or somebody came to pull us up because we would have gone. We're like, I don't know, 4 stories up, and
Right.
this damn thing, the fence around the balcony just went like this, and the powder, from the concrete. Spanish hotels weren't built very well, I don't think, at
No.
one point. And it's got a reputation of being like that. But I think things have obviously improved now because we go to Spain and it's great there now. But that was a funny thing I remember. And but Diana Dors, I didn't talk to that much, but John Le Mesurier, quite a bit.
Yeah. There's that famous Carry On film, isn't it? Carry On Abroad, which is set in the Spanish hotel that's being built. And if you remember that one,
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Carry On movies.
going
Just
back a
like,
few years, of course.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're
In the
not very
1900s or
PC
something.
anymore, are they?
Sorry.
They're not very PC anymore. I don't think they're ever shown on
No, no,
TV anymore, which
no,
is a shame,
no.
I think. Um, could you not see yourself in the suite then? When you asked to replace Brian Connolly?
Oh, that was because my producer was their producer. One
Uh,
afternoon, he said to me when I was recording with him, he said, "Do you want to come over to the pub and meet the guys from the suite?" I said, "Yeah, okay." And they asked me to join the band, and I said, "Well, let me think about it," because I didn't really think it was my kind of thing, to be honest with you. Their music, little Willie won't go home and all that stuff, Fox on the Run, whatever they recorded. I didn't feel it was my thing because I wanted to be, solo. I wanted to be on my own,
yeah,
and I didn't think I wanted to join a band like Sweet. I really didn't see it at all. I wasn't
yeah,
interested. But they were, they did great. I know they did, and they did really, really well. But it just wasn't my thing, you know.
right,
So I
right.
turned it down, and my manager kind of agreed that it wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, one of my subscribers have asked, and I've done some research on the internet, and I can't find anything. But when Peter Gabriel left Genesis, were you one of the singers that auditioned for that band?
No.
Ah,
No.
well, there you go. That's why I couldn't find anything on the internet about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
Uh, um, according to Martin Poffal's book, he said that you'd never actually heard any Rainbow before you actually joined them.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
what
I
made
had no idea.
so
I
what
had
made
no idea who they were. And Roger Glover was working with a friend of mine that was managed by, we were managed by the same people, Mickey Moody, the guitar player.
yeah
And it was Roger Glover who was producing Mickey Moody's. He was in Whitesnake.
yeah
He was
yeah
producing the album, I think. And so what happened was Richie Blackmore was thinking he'd heard the Only One Woman song a few times.
yeah
And he said, where is this guy now? And Roger said, well, I can get hold of him through Mickey Moody.
yeah
And what the hell's that? Yeah, sorry, something happened there. Through Mickey Moody. So Mickey gave Roger Glover my phone number. Roger Glover got in touch with me and said, will you come over to audition for Rainbow? And I said, okay, but I wasn't sure who they were. So I asked my manager who they were. He said, well, they have sort of a good reputation as being a heavy rock band. I said, but they used to be Deep Purple, a couple of the guys. Oh, okay, Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, blah, blah, blah.
yeah
And so I said, but who are they? So what I did was buy the albums of the stuff when Ronnie was singing with them, obviously. And I said to my manager, I don't think this is the right thing for me. I don't really want to be in the band. He said, well, go over there, do the audition and see what you think. And I learned one song called Mistreated, and that was my audition piece.
yeah
So I went over there and sang with the band and a couple of times, and they gave me the job there and then. And I said, well, thank you. Can I, again, it was one of those, can I think about it? So I
right.
went back to London because they were recording in Switzerland. And I went back to London and said to my manager, I don't think I'm right for this. I said, they're all the sort of, they have the heavy metal look, the spandex pants and all that, or whatever they were wearing. I said, I don't look like them,
Yeah.
for one thing. Said, I've got my short hair and I still do have all the rest of it. They weren't like me. And I thought I was going to be better off just being a solo artist. And he said, no, I think you should really do this, take it seriously, and it'd be a good move. And eventually, I guess it was, because I got involved. I went back to record the album called Down to Earth, and it did pretty well. And we had a song from the album called Since You've Been Gone, written by my friend Russ Ballard.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Cozy Powell didn't want to record.
Sorry?
Cozy Powell didn't want to record it, did he?
No, nobody did. It was all like, well, we're not going to do that, are we? Cozy was very anti Since You've Been Gone, And when I heard the title Since You've Been Gone, I thought it was some kind of, I thought it was some kind of bluesy thing. And then I heard it. We had a copy of the song by a band called Clouts. It was a girl band doing this song, Since You've Been Gone. And I said, no, I see what you mean. It was very poppy.
Yeah.
And but anyway, we sort of did it a little bit harder, heavier in a way, and changed it a little bit, to the Rainbow style, I guess. And it did very well. What can I say? Russ Ballard will. Hang on, I can't get rid of that. Hang on, I got you. Oh, it doesn't matter. Where's the arrow gone? I'm trying to find the arrow, and I can't. Oh, there it is. There, and it did really well for Rainbow, because suddenly, instead of them being kind of an unknown quantity or underground, they became radio friendly with that song, and it changed the whole thing for the band. And I was very happy to be in that band at the time. It was like amazing, because I never thought this record would do what it did.
Yeah,
and I don't think any of us did.
No, well, Richie apparently Richie had quite a thing for melodic pop. He loved ABBA, and didn't you include in the Rainbow set that version, "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow," which I think you recorded on one of your solo albums?
Yeah, that was his yeah, from my
Carol
solo
King,
album,
wasn't it?
that was his favorite track. You know, he
Yeah.
loved that song. So he said, "Can we do this?" I said, "All right then." But we didn't do it like every night. But some nights it was we depended on the place, depending
Yeah.
how happy the audience was, I think.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get a great reception from, well, we always got a great reception. It's freaking rainbow, for God's sake.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was it was one, you know, one night he well, on the last night I played with the band, in fact, was Castle Donnington.
Yeah.
And he started playing the D chord, and he looks across at me. He goes, "I'm going, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, will you still love me tomorrow?" Oh, okay. And I wasn't ready for that, but some nights we would do it, some nights we didn't. You know, it was all depending on the audience, how, as I said, how happy they were or how drunk they were.
Oh, it's interesting. You mentioned the earlier. You mentioned the song "Mistreated," the Deep Purple number.
Yeah.
Was that song an influence on "Love's No Friend"? Because
Yes,
I hear
absolutely.
similarities there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I recognize that like later, much later, that somebody
Yeah.
said to me, it's a bit like Mistreated. I said, "Oh, it is, isn't it?" Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. That's Richie. He always sticks to a, you know, if it works once, it'll work, you know, it'll work again. Don't
Right.
fix it if it ain't broke, you know. So it was very similar. And that's something about, that's what Barry Gibb did. I remember with Only One Woman, and the second song we did with him, The Walls Fell Down,
Mhm.
parts of the song were the same melody. So, you know, so people like the familiar. And that song, I love that song, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Love's No
Absolutely.
Friend. I think it's great. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we do that in our set. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Interesting. Richie Blackmore likes a very what I call quite a dramatic environment to record in. And you started recording the album at a chateau in France, but apparently you weren't happy recording there. What was it about the place you didn't like?
Well, it was, I don't know. I mean, me and Roger started recording in the dining room. The place was closed down basically. And there was this dusty room with a great big long table, I remember, and all these chairs on the table, all tipped up upside down, you know, sort of cobwebs everywhere. Just, it was like, ooh,
Horrid.
it was a depressing place, very depressing. And my room was the chapel. We said, the chapel. You know, it was
Right.
this little room. It was, it was, I just didn't like it. It felt
Right.
like the place was haunted. I know
Yeah.
it wasn't, but I mean, it was just a
You didn't
cold.
see anything then?
No, it was no.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. It was, it was very cold,
Yeah.
and I just didn't get the vibe, man. You know, so we didn't. Did we do anything there? No, we didn't, because Roger said, I think we should move into a proper studio, because it was a mobile. So the mobile was outside, you know, it was great for drums and all that kind of thing. Great for drums,
I think it was actually
incredible.
Jethro Tull's mobile you were using.
Yes, it was, yes.
Yeah.
So we decided that, well, Roger did really, decided we should go into a studio, you know, a proper studio where it was warmer.
Yeah.
So we moved from there to the East Coast to do the actual vocals, East
Yeah.
Coast of America. Yeah.
Okay, well, Richie Blackmore's generally known as being someone who's interested in the occult, and Joe Lynn Turner speaks about seances and things like that. Well, then, did you see any spooky goings on like that when you were with Rainbow?
No, not at all. I mean, but I know that Richie played tricks on people. He would, he would, you know, like the doors in that place we were started recording. He would put like cotton tied to handles of windows and things like that, and pull the. I don't know how he did it, and pull the cotton so the window opened by itself and all this kind of stuff. And recorded noises, creepy noises and shit, and played that through the you know, through the rooms. I think he mainly did that with our crew, you know, because they get scared shitless and, well, you know, what the hell's that, you know? But he never did that with me, I'm glad to say. And but that was his thing. He would play tricks on people and make people think there was a ghost in the house or whatever, you know. But not really sort of sitting around with a Ouija board and, you know, conjuring up spirits or whatever. Well, I never saw that anyway.
Okay, okay. Did you get a writing credit on All Night Long, and do you think you should have done?
Yeah, I mean, all night. Well, the whole thing, the album when I made the album with Roger, when we were recording with Roger, he would give me a rough idea of how the melody should go, and then I would take it my way and interpret what he sort of had an idea about, and then sing my melody over his lyrics. Roger wrote the words, so I'd sing his lyrics, but do it, from here.
Okay.
I would change the melody and whatever. It was not just All Night Long, it was all the album.
Yeah.
And at the end of this, years later, I'm going, wait a minute, I was songwriting and I didn't know, because I was new to the band. I thought, it was like Richie Blackmore, Roger Glover, Cozy Powell, Don Eric, that was it. And I thought, oh yeah, wait a minute, I was songwriting, but I didn't. I was so green, I didn't know. I really didn't know that I was songwriting, but I was magically, So now I look at that and go, oh shit, if only I'd known, But I know that if you ever asked Roger or Richie, were those melodies Graham's melodies? They would say, yeah,
Nice.
I'm not lying about that. It was but I wish I'd done what I should have done. Got my songwriting credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Why didn't Bad Girl make it on the album then?
I don't know. They thought it was a bit of a throwaway track and should be a B-side on a single or something, like singles in those days were.
Yeah.
I like that song. I think I really like that song. It's good live, but it was a throwaway sort of thing. There was another one that was, I can't remember which one it was now, but there were a couple of songs that were like, oh, it's okay. No Time to Lose, I think it was, or something. There's another one on the album, and it was like, well, just do it. Oh, it's okay. It's not bad. That'll do. Shut up, Graham. Stop singing.
You do it live now, don't you?
Sorry?
You play it live in your set occasionally?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's one Bad Girl you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very good live song. Sometimes, like studio songs, they sound great in the studio, but they don't translate to live, they don't have the same vibe or whatever, or you don't feel like it, whatever it may be. But that one, it's got a lot of energy. And at the time, we didn't really realize that.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good song.
Oh, interesting. You actually opened for Blue Oyster Cult. I'm interested to know what that was like. And I get the impression that Richie Blackmore's not so fond of Blue Oyster Cult, because when they supported him on the recent Rainbow tour, he wouldn't play on the same stage with them. I'm just wondering if there's any friction from years ago.
Really?
Well, they were supposed to be on the stage and then Rainbow after them, but
they
had to swap it round, put Sweet before Rainbow, and Blue Oyster Cult put on the smaller stage. So I'm just curious whether or not there was any friction all those years ago when you supported them.
I don't think so, because we only did, I think, 3 gigs with them before we went out on our own. 2 or 3 gigs. But that was like our warm up to doing our own shows. They were great guys, really nice guys. From Long Island, I remember, all little sort of Italian guys. And I don't remember any friction between Richie, or I don't think anybody was, bad mouthing them in any way. They were good guys, and they had a great show.
Whether you were a lot heavier than them.
Sorry?
As a band, you were a lot heavier than Blue Oyster
Cult.
Oh,
I know. This was sometimes that would be Rainbow. You'd hear people in the audience when they were playing, sort of calling out for Rainbow. It's which was very not nice.
No, I suppose. I mean, how involved were you with the writing, or in any way, or how involved at all were you in the next album, Difficult to Cure? Are you on that at all, or
No, we had for that album. We started rehearsing. Should have been rehearsing new songs for the album in where were we? Copenhagen, I think, and we had a rehearsal room, which sometimes was like one of us there or 2 of us there. It was never a group thing. Everybody was going sightseeing or something, and nothing was being done. No songs were being written. I had a melody to one song. I remember me and Don doing something one day, and I had this melody which we recorded, and I think it was used later when Joe came in. I'm not sure, but there's one song. It Can't Happen Here, I think it's called. And that was my part of that was my melody that I remember. I didn't have any lyrics or anything, but nobody was, Richie was never there, so where is he? So we started rehearsing on our own, Roger, me, and Don, and our new drummer. And it was like, well, what the hell? We've got nothing here. So what do we do? And Don said, well, I'm going to go home. He said, there's no point us hanging out here and nothing happening. He said, I'm going to go home. He said, I can't see this band going anywhere. I think it's come to an end. And I thought the same damn thing. I thought it was all done with. And the band was just going to split up and do other things. So Don said he was going to go home. I actually did go home. I went back to LA, and I got a phone call from Bruce Payne, the manager, saying, are you going to come back? I said, what do you mean? We don't have anything to come back to. I said, we have no songs. And he said to me, well, we've got some songs happening now with another singer, and if you can, you can sing the songs you like, and he can sing the songs he likes, whatever. And I said, I don't see me happening with another singer. I don't want to do that. So I just left. I just said, nah, no thanks. So Joe Lynn came along and did a great job, and they had a good album. But I just didn't see me going on anymore with that, because Cozy was gone, and it didn't have the same sort of family feeling. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but it wasn't as happy as it was.
Right.
To me, got a new drummer, and everybody was losing interest, I think, a bit. So, when Joe came along, they were very much in the Foreigner vibe, I think, because that's a band that I think Richie wanted to sort of emulate a little bit. The style of Foreigner or Toto or something like that,
Sort of
so it became that.
Softer rock.
Sorry?
Sort of softer rock.
Yes. Which is,
Yeah. So why did you choose not to audition for Black Sabbath? Did you not like their type of music, or?
Well, I didn't think I was right. I mean, do I look like a Black Sabbath guy? I don't.
Well, mind you, saying that, you'd think about Rainbow with Dio. At the time, you didn't particularly look like a Rainbow guy either, but you sounded brilliant.
Not at all. Not at all. I know, but Black Sabbath have the hair and the mustaches and the Black Sabbath. I mean, I didn't see that, and I didn't really like their music. I didn't. There was nothing that attracted me to that at all. Not that they're not good at what they do. They're, all these bands are so great, but I just didn't like the music. My taste was elsewhere. And when Ronnie came along and joined them, it was fantastic for him. They did 3 albums, I think, which Ronnie was singing on it, and it turned that band around. He was great. He really did. And so I admire him for doing that. And I think Black Sabbath, I think, improved their songwriting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I mean, Assault Attack is one of the best 80s hard rock albums. Do you wish there'd been a bit more with Michael Schenker Group?
Yeah. I mean, again, I tell you how I got into that. I went to see the Michael Schenker band play in LA, and because Cozy was in the band, Cozy Powell. And I went to see the band, and afterwards, I was watching the other band that was on with them upstairs, and Cozy came up to me and said, "What do you think about the band?" And I said, "It's fucking great." He said, "Yeah, it is good, isn't it?" or whatever. And he said, "How would you like to sing in this band?" And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You've got a great singer. It sounds great. What are you talking about?" He says, "Well, we'd like you to sing with us." Right. And so that was kind of how that happened. And then again, it was like, what? A surprise sort of a thing. And because I'd been in Rainbow, I knew how to handle this kind of music. Because in Rainbow, I was kind of going, "Oh, what do I do here?" Which I learned how to sing certain parts and whatever. Because I thought, well, where does the verse come? Where's the middle bit? Because it's very sort of semi-classical music. So I knew how to handle rock and roll, that kind of rock and roll better. And I thought, well, it's a great band. And if you're losing Gary Barden, okay. So again, they went back to England or whatever they did. I think they went back to England. And then I got some stuff in the mail from Michael, cassette tapes, when cassette tapes were used, in those days. And it said on it, urgent, please write these songs. And urgent. So I had 3 songs to write. And then suddenly I found myself back in England and rehearsing with the Michael Schenker band. And Cozy was in the band at the time. But there was an argument between him and Michael, and Cozy was gone. They had a fight, a terrible fight. And anyway, then Ted McKenna came in. Fucking bless him. I loved him. And that was it. So I started writing songs with the Michael Schenker group, and it was my first real attempt at writing all the words and all the melodies. So I knew what I was doing now. Now I knew I was a songwriter in this band. I didn't go, oh, here you go. I hand all the royalties over to this guy. Okay. So now I knew what I was doing. Right. So I said to Michael, one of the first songs we did was a song called Desert Song. So I said to him, what do you want me to write on this? He said, anything you like, Graham. So I did. I remember I was sitting in the rehearsal room while they were playing it, and I wrote the words to it. And it was very quick. And I don't know how I did it, but then I did all the other songs. I went to stay at Roger Glover's house, and I wrote all the rest of the songs with the arrangements on tape, and that was it. It took a while because I was very I wanted it really to sound good, the words to sound right, etc. But I really enjoyed making that album. It was great fun because we had Michael's guitar playing, and then of course the production, goddamn, was fantastic. Again, we're losing everybody I know. He's gone now, our producer. We had fun. We had so much fun. And I love that album. It's a great album. Now I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. It's a great album. What was it like walking out on the stage at Donnington in 1980? I mean, that was a big crowd. I mean, was it daunting at all, or did you really feel validated by that, by going out on that stage?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I went down in the afternoon to see what the setup was, I remember. And they expected to get, remember somebody told us 8,000 people. That's all they expected. The people that were, it was their land, and, the rest of it, the people that were putting on the show. And it turned out to be almost 100,000, I think, or something like that. But it was incredible because it was like we had this quadraphonic sound setup. So everybody could hear it. The sound was coming from the back and the front and the sides and everything. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to sound incredible. And that night, I remember saying to Don, I said, we'd been on tour for a while, and I said to Don, I said, God damn, I'm tired. And he said, so am I. He said, I hope tonight goes well, but because we're going to lose Cozy tonight. He's leaving the band. So it's kind of a sad, happy moment. It's a big show, and fucking more than 8,000 turned up. It was an amazingly large audience. And anyway, we went on stage feeling like crap. And but after the show was finished, I said to Don, it wasn't very good, was it? But now I see it was good. It was good. It was great. It was one of our best shows. Everybody, I mean, when I walked on stage with Rainbow that night, it was just like walking into a warm living room. Everybody was happy, and the audience were like, it was incredible. The sound was like a jet plane landing when they cheered, when we all came on. Richie comes on and starts playing the Eyes of the World thing. It was just amazing. And I'll never have that experience again. It was the most amazing night. And I was so happy that my family was there. My mom and dad were there, my brother, my nieces and nephews. And they all came back after the show, and it was marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. But unfortunately, we lost Cozy. Cozy left the band that day, and I think I said something in the show somewhere about Cozy and how much we loved him, and wished him best of luck. Because
what a show to
he
go
was
out.
A great band. Hey,
what a show to go out on, though. It was a great show.
It was, and we, as I said, we were all like, oh God, not feeling on top of the world, I thought, oh, my voice is going to go or something because we had this long, tour.
Mhm.
But it was all right. It wasn't bad at all. Not bad at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
It was marvelous.
I've got one more question for you, really, and that is what's prompted you to reunite the Graham Bonnet band for Day Out in Nowhere?
Well, I give it's all up to Bethany Heavenstone. She decided to sit me down and say, look, Graham, let's do something with the band again, with the three of us, with Bethany, Conrad Pesanato. We started doing something a long time ago. And it didn't work out as being a trio. So we thought, well, it better be something else, which turned into a band eventually. And when I was recording and doing, sessions, and she said to me, you've got to do something with us again. We've got to get together with Conrad and me. And so Bethany put me back on the map again, basically. She worked very hard at getting stuff together for me, all the business stuff. She's just amazing. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have the band. I'd probably be doing sessions for the rest of my life or something. But she was very determined to make sure that I did what I really love. And this has turned into a beautiful baby. This band is, I'm very, very proud of it. We just did some gigs a little while ago, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. The reception from the audience was marvelous. And I saw that when you see those smiling faces, you go, yeah, we've done it. Tonight we were good. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back. And I thank Bethany with all my heart. I really do. I love her to death.
Right.
And in many ways, she's my heroine. Not that heroine, but she's my heroine.
Okay. So when will we see you again in the UK? When do you think you'll come back for some dates?
I won't be long, I don't think. Well, we've got we're just working on now. We're going to be going to Japan. We're just fixing up how we're going to do that with new management, and it's going to be more personal management. What's going to happen is we have a guy that we know who's a really, really business savvy. It's going to change. Well, anyway, I won't talk about that right now because we have plans, and I don't exactly know how we're going to do things. We've got some good things going, and we want to do it the right way.
Sure.
So when we come back to play, it's going to be something more than just singing and playing. We want to put a show together. We went to see, nothing to do with this, but we went to see Iron Maiden, and fucking hell, but we're not going to be that. But their show is just like, it's theatre. Have you seen Iron Maiden?
I
must
have.
have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It's so much fun, And we went backstage after to see Bruce, and it was great. What a night that was, and that was just a while back, just a couple of months ago. Yeah. Bethany and I just went, oh God, what a great show,
Great show. I saw that show.
Giant thing coming out, eh?
That's the show. I saw that show in London about a year ago, I think. They've been touring it for a while now, but it's a great show. Really is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It is theatre. It is theatre. It's like the Rocky Horror Show or something,
It is
But
indeed.
it was incredible. I didn't expect that. The giant and all the stuff, all that, all those things coming out of the wall and whatever. It was just amazing. Just amazing. Great fucking band.
Oh, they are. They are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll certainly be interested to see what show you bring to the UK. I'll try and catch that.
Yeah, well, as I said, we're going to try to get a bit more than just doing the songs if we can, but it depends where we're playing. If we're playing a theatre or a pub, we won't be playing pubs, but it depends on the place and how we actually get this thing together. At the moment, it's just in our heads about what we want to do, because we have ideas that are kind of interesting, a little bit different, and if that works, that'll be fantastic.
It will be.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to play in England soon, we hope, but first it'll be Japan.
Okay. Well, you enjoy Japan, and enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. It's really appreciated.
God, anytime. You're very, very welcome. And I enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Graham. All the very best.
All right. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye, Zach.